All right, we're going live. Any minute now. Any minute. I click the button, and when you click the button, there's really nothing else you can do. You're just live. So Brooks is confirming we are live. Day 3 of our NFL Hype Week. We are going live each and every day, the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. I'm Andy Holloway, and excited to be with you today. Going to answer some fantasy questions. Hopefully going to see people starting to come into the chat. Yep. There's Henry from Periscope on the way in. I think we're live on YouTube, Periscope, on Facebook. You can hear me apparently. Yeah, questions are coming in, which is great. So what's up, Justin, David, Ethan? Day 3 of these live streams. We're going to be answering your questions about the 2020 fantasy football season. Yes, we're going to have a season, it looks like, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be different. There are going to be some variables in play that we're not used to. We're going to have more IR spots than we're used to, but we're all hoping for a great, healthy season, and brings us back to that kind of place of community and connection. Watching these games, and I want to help you out today. Make sure if you are kind of late to the party this year, maybe you weren't confident the NFL was going to happen, and you haven't prepped up for your draft. You can see the link down below somewhere, right? Let me see if I can do this. There. Yeah, there's the link. And you can go to the Ultimate Draft Kit. You can check it out. This is something we work on all off season. We keep it updated. It's got player profiles. It's got all sorts of different tools to help you draft. And really the big key, when you go and ask, every year we survey the people that use the Ultimate Draft Kit, and we want to make sure people are excited about it and happy with it and what their favorite features are. And one of the big pieces, one of the big parts of that equation are the tier rankings. Not all rankings are made equal. We have proven year in and year out that we have some of the most accurate rankings in the industry, and we keep them updated all off season. So you get the complimentary app when you get the Ultimate Draft Kit, and that app you can use as a tool during your drafts to track players that are drafted, to mark players as, do not draft list. Like Jason might take the app and put a big X on AJ Green, for example. And I might put a star on AJ Green. But you can use that app to really identify players that are your favorites, import custom scoring settings, a lot of cool stuff. So going to answer questions for the next little while. And I see many of them coming in here. So let's go here. Pranav says, A-Rob or Galladay in a PPR league? Well, I'm going to go Kenny Galladay in any format. Matthew Stafford coming back, one of the best fantasy quarterbacks last year in his brief window of being able to play. And Kenny Galladay is the player that I would lean on in whether you're standard, PPR, half point. Allen Robinson, love him. Don't know if it's going to be Nick Foles. Don't know if it's going to be Mitch Trubisky. But I know that I like the quarterback throwing the ball to Kenny Galladay more, and Galladay is just such a dynamic talent, a double-digit touchdown type of guy. So that's where I'm going to go there. Wow, look at this incredible comment. The UDK is my best investment this year. That is well said. Well said. Mixon or Chubb in a non-PPR league? I'm a huge Joe Mixon fan. He's very likely going to be one of my guys for this upcoming season. He did a lot with a little in Cincinnati last year. But Nick Chubb, obviously, people want to debate Kareem Hunt, his involvement in the offense. They want to talk about Kevin Stefanski coming over, the way the passing game struggled, Baker struggled. But you don't run for 1,400-plus yards on accident. I'm a huge Nick Chubb fan. If I'm in a standard format league, I think Chubb is going to have just a tremendous amount of scoring opportunities. And last year he was kind of that anomalous player who had a great season, but somehow couldn't succeed in the goal line situations. Those things are tough to predict. They balance out over time. I'm going to go with Nick Chubb here, despite loving Joe Mixon. I think they're very, very close. So let's go ahead and jump into a Facebook question from David. Do you think Kenyon Drake could be an RB1 this year? Yeah, I think Kenyon Drake could be an RB1. He's being drafted as an RB1 right now. I think he's Jason's favorite pick at the end of the first round. And it's all about the offense. We're going to be doing a show this afternoon that releases tomorrow about the NFC West. And Arizona is one of those teams that has a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver that are all top tier options. And the offense, they run a lot of plays. You saw a lot of success with Cliff Kingsbury in the second half of the year. And while a bet with Arizona is a bet on Kyler Murray and on Cliff Kingsbury, it's a pretty good bet. This is an offensive system that was successful last year and really, really fits Kenyon Drake. You saw David Johnson push to the periphery almost immediately. And Kenyon Drake just fit the offense. He can catch passes. So it is very possible that he ends the year as an RB1 just because of that dual threat ability. I think on the last live stream that I was on, I mentioned it. I do think Chase Edmonds will be used more than people want, because most people are drafting Kenyon Drake, and you're going to see these drives with Chase Edmonds. You're going to see opportunities for Chase Edmonds, and because Edmonds has kind of got the ability to make a big play here or there, he's going to end up stealing a little bit from Kenyon Drake, in my opinion. So that being said, I think Drake could easily be an RB1 this year. Let's go ahead and go to, lots of questions coming in. Who wins Devin Funchess' spot in Green Bay now that he opted out for the season? And we may see some opt-outs over the course of the next week. We don't know the exact deadline because the CBA hasn't been ratified by the Players Association yet. But likely the 4th, 5th, 6th, that's going to be that end marker in August of when players can opt out. You may see a flurry of players doing that at the very end, at the deadline, when they've evaluated how camp's gone so far, when they evaluate how the protocols are working. But Devin Funchess signed a 1-year deal with Green Bay. I was looking forward to playing the drop, and he opted out. So we don't have Devin Funchess in Green Bay. Allen Lazard's the player to look for there. You have some other options at the wide receiver position. Maybe some people start to believe in the hype for Jace Sternberger, the tight end. But I would say Lazard's the one that's shown us on the field that he can produce, even if it was, enigmatically, occasionally. But Lazard's the guy that benefits there from some clarity at the wide receiver position. Let's go ahead and look here. This is a good question. Justin wants to know, with Alshon starting the year likely on the PUP, which, by the way, Alshon on the PUP right now in camp, don't be confused into thinking that guarantees he's on the PUP for the first part of the season. Right now you can put a player there and you can bring them back during camp. But Godwin opted out. Marquise Goodwin, not Godwin. Sorry. Alert, Brooks. I don't want anyone thinking Chris Godwin has opted out. Marquise Goodwin has opted out. He was a free agent signing by Philadelphia. Really hasn't produced in a while. Is there any other wide receiver other than Djax worth rostering? And I think the answer is definitively yes to that question. I think Jalen Reagor is a late-round target and somebody that you can roster because you're taking a gamble. What I like to see about the late-round picks is that you don't want to take a guy that you got to wait 4 or 5 weeks. If he's a second-to-last pick or last pick, you think that you can take somebody that you can wait 4 or 5 weeks, but you're going to need a roster spot. You're going to need to release a player into free agency to sign someone. You want to draft players with the last or the second to last spot that you'll get to understand their value early. Because of the situation with Alshon Jeffrey, because of the draft capital spent on Jalen Reagor, drafted ahead of Justin Jefferson, you might know pretty quickly. And so I think he's absolutely worth the draft pick. I think Djax and Reagor are worth rostering, and there's some percentage chance Reagor comes out week 1, week 2, is much more involved in the offense than we expected. I think there was some positive, hype news this morning about Jalen Reagor, and he could pay off. So he's somebody worth rostering, to answer the question. And let's see, we'll look at some more questions here. A lot of people coming in off of Twitter, YouTube. Next week, just to take a break here, next week, we're 5 days a week as a show, and that's from August through the end of the season, through end of December. So if you are new to the podcast, I encourage you to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or if you like watching the show on YouTube, Make sure you subscribe. You'll know when our live streams are available. You'll know when each and every daily show is available. And this is, I don't think, Brooks, are you even ready? Are you ready for 5 days a week? Oh, yeah. He said, oh, yeah. So he's ready. He's always ready. I don't know if I'm ready. We're used to having to get kids up in the morning, and that's what wakes us up. Kids ready for school, and then we're in the door. But next week, 5 days a week. So make sure you subscribe. Let's jump into some more questions here. Scrolling. Man, there are a lot of questions, Brooks. I can't answer all these questions. All right, how does the canceled preseason affect draft prospects, especially in keeper leagues? I think that there's just the overarching concession that a limited camp, a modified camp, no preseason games is not good. I don't like it. It's not good for these rookies. They don't get as much time in the offense, and it takes time to acclimate. Certain positions do better at that. I mean, running backs generally, they acclimate quickly, and they can make a big rookie year impact, and I don't think that's going to change just because you don't get a couple of preseason games to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis. So, it's not good. It affects their ability to kind of become central to an offense earlier, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a challenge for the big names you're thinking about. Let's go ahead and go with this one. Aiden Ford wants to know Ridley, Robert Woods, or A.J. Brown in a full PPR league. I'm going to take Robert Woods. He's that way in my rankings. Full PPR league, the volume for Robert Woods compared to A.J. Brown was significantly different last year. Calvin Ridley's not necessarily going to be a volume guy either. I see Ridley more into the A.J. Brown kind of projection. Those guys kind of align. You're looking at touchdowns, big plays, but you're not looking at 80, 90, 100 receptions, which is in the realm of possibilities for Robert Woods. And Robert Woods was he's a positive regression. You hear that term, getting back to where he belongs at the touchdown totals. Last year, I think he had 2 or 3. It wasn't what you expected from Robert Woods. No more Brandon Cooks, go-to guy in the offense. So full PPR, I'm very confident in Robert Woods. Not as flashy, not as exciting. A.J. Brown is stronger, faster, but I like Robert Woods. So a lot of Jalen Reagor questions coming in as well. Here's a good question. Nicholas wants to know, what do you consider when picking your keepers? And I like this question because it really focuses you on the difference between a keeper league and a dynasty league. Keeper leagues sometimes can deceive players that are new to them into thinking, that you're actually going to have these guys for a really long period of time. If you're in a league that's got 1, 2, 3 keepers, I'm going to break some news to you. Those players are going to fly around. And so I'm not making decisions on keepers that are based on, is this guy going to be on my roster 4 years from now, 5 years from now, the kind of dynasty, rookie, young, youthful-oriented picks. I'm looking at what are they going to do for me this year. Obviously, there are certain players that, are less likely to be traded. Maybe Christian McCaffrey is more locked in on a team. But from our experience, these guys are moving around, and you're only having to pick 1 or 2, 3 keepers. So you think you know who your keepers are, but then an A.J. Brown comes along or a Tyreek Hill comes along like you did a couple of seasons ago, and your keepers change. So you go into the season, you go, man, I got 3 of the youngest keepers in fantasy football, and then 2 of the other players on your roster outperform them, and all your decision-making didn't matter. So you just have to kind of recognize the fact that that's a reality in a keeper league. And if you only have 1 or 2, 3 spots, I'm not too focused down the line. I'm focused on this season. Do I have the best players for my roster to win a championship now if I'm in a keeper league? So let's see here. This question from Ryan. Love the show. Really enjoy the UDK. Appreciate that. I am the second pick in my 10-team full PPR league. Who should I try to target at the second, third round turn after Saquon? Yeah, these questions are always difficult because I don't know what your draft board is going to look like at that point. I think I can philosophically tell you that you don't necessarily want to lock yourself into a position. If you are trying to think about your draft at this point, you know you're going to have Saquon Barkley, it sounds like, but you don't know who's going to be on the board. And that's one of the reasons why tier-based drafting is really important. You don't want to go into your draft and say, no matter what, I'm taking 2 wide receivers because I think these 2 guys are going to be there. Or no matter what, I'm going to take a running back and a wide receiver. You have to let the draft come to you in that regard. And that's why when you look at and you break players up into tiers, which is what we do in the Ultimate Draft Kit, it gives you an advantage to be able to differentiate. Because if you get to that turn and there are 3 running backs or 4 running backs in a certain tier available, but only 1 wide receiver left in that tier, that's going to help you make that decision a little bit better because you know you're going to get a better player at that position. So, I have no problem going running back again at the 2-3 turn and ending up with 3 running backs if those are the best players on the board that are going to make the biggest difference on my team, or going wide receiver if that's the case. So, can't lock in there. Very important question here from Derek. He says, Foot Clan for life. A lot of exclamation points, and that is all. Ari wants me to keep trade cut Andy, Mike, and Jason. I will keep myself, obviously. I'm going to have to trade Jason, I guess. He's ordering food for me right now in the office, so I need to be careful. Maybe I need to keep him and trade myself in this situation because I want to eat lunch. And Mike's not in the office right now, so I have to cut him. I'm sorry, Mike. I love you. Hey, Andy. Why are you the lowest on Tyreek Hill? I don't know. I don't know why I'm the lowest on Tyreek Hill. I think that he's still in the top tier wide receivers for me. Brooks, I don't have my rankings up in front of me. I guess I can pull that up here. Do you know where I have Tyreek? Let me take a quick look.
It's like
I think at like 7, maybe wide receiver 7?
6.5 point.
6? Yeah, I don't feel like that's low. It's definitely the lowest. I think Jason's been very, hyped on the Kansas City offense maintaining, super high levels, the bounce back for Mahomes. I think he projected him originally as his number 1 quarterback. He might be number 2 now. I just think that this defense has gotten a lot better in Kansas City. I think Tyreek is great. You get a little bit more volatility with Tyreek Hill, a little bit more of an injury risk. We've seen that in recent years. You're splitting hairs on a couple of these wide receivers. I've got him and Godwin at 7 and 8. Risk factors abounding. Now, see, Jason, I just had to keep trade cut you, and I kept you because you were ordering food for me.
That's smart. Very smart.
Very smart. Get out of here. Get back to work. Here's a good question. Do you think Superflex will become the majority way to play soon, says David? No, I don't. Majority, I don't think that's going to... More common? Yeah, I think more common. I'm seeing more and more of that at the industry level. More of these industry leagues we're in. 2 quarterbacks, Superflex. More flexibility there to, I guess, more nuanced, a little bit more strategy, deeper rosters. A lot of people enjoy that. I don't have any problem with it. It turns that onesie position into something that, you have to pay more attention to. The streaming quarterback stuff is, less viable. Very important question here. Keep trade cut. Leo, Mikey, and Raphael. I'm going to keep Michelangelo. Big pizza fan. Need some joy. Leo has to... I'm going to trade him. He's a little controlling, isn't he? He keeps us on track, but... And then Raphael, he's getting the cut. Somebody else can pick that bad attitude up. Right, Brooks?
Don't want any of that.
What's your favorite Ninja Turtle, Brooks?
Michelangelo.
Yeah, second favorite Ninja Turtle, Brooks.
Oh.
Mine's, I think, is Leonardo.
Yeah, I'll go with Leonardo.
Then it's Donatello, then it's Raph. And I know Mike loves Raph, but that explains our personalities. Donatello just always seems so just boring. I know that you need him. Maybe I'm bitter that he just gets a stick. I don't know. Nunchucks are pretty cool. Jack wants to know DJ Moore, Kenny Golladay in a PPR. That's Kenny Golladay. What are some events that you guys do at your draft day party? You guys are planning your drafts. Traditionally, we eat until we are exceptionally tired and fat. Mike has traditionally made his homemade draft dip, which I'm sure we'll share around. We have our watering. So the last place team, one of our big traditions in our league, and we've upgraded it this year. We got the wheel of water the wheel of water story goes way, way back. We used to work at a game company. There's a ping pong table and a foosball table. And if you got shut out, you got watered right there on the spot. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of the workday, you got a meeting, you got to drive home soaking wet. You got watered. And so we had a wheel, like a physical wheel you'd spin, and it would be like, up close and personal. You get a cup of water in your face from an inch away. You get it poured on you. You get ice water. You get it in your pocket. You get it laying down. You have to pretend you're swimming. Stupid stuff. And we turned that into an app because we made bets on the show all the time. And so the Wheel of Water app is still out there. You can get it. I mean, we don't talk about it a lot, but you can get it on the App Store. It's free. And it's a great way to make little side bets. But we have, if you finish last in our league, every other owner gets to spin that wheel and douse you with water. And then you sit there and you draft wet. And it's very cold in Arizona because we run the air conditioning. And you sit there soaking wet, and you get moldy and disgusting. And it's great because you shouldn't have finished last. And this year, we're adding a layer of, we're going to make a woolen sweater for the last place team. And that's what they get watered in, and they have to sit in that sweater. By the way, Brooks, I have no idea how to make a woolen sweater, or even if people do that. But can you effort that for me? Or shear a sheep or something? It'd be helpful. You're not on the mic, or are you? Are you on the microphone, Brooks?
Oh, they can hear me.
They can hear you?
Yes, sir.
That's great. I like having a dialogue. Holy moly, there's a lot of questions. Oh, my gosh. What's my favorite drop? Monday, Brooks. Don't we have a very special drop on Monday's show next week?
Yeah.
My favorite drop is Monday's show drop.
It's a favorite of the people.
That's a teaser. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's Monday's show drop. OBJ or Robert Woods? I'm going Robert Woods. I'm not playing with Baker this year. Not playing with Baker and OBJ when I know Robert Woods is going to catch 90 passes. Tom Burton wants to know, okay, that's not a real question. Maybe 0.25 per attempt on a 1-point PPR. Maybe am I okay with that? Maybe that was a follow-up to another question. Let's go here. Tyreek and Evans or Golladay and Godwin? I'll go Golladay and Godwin. I think I have Golladay ahead of Tyreek, and then I have Godwin ahead of Evans. So that one's pretty easy for me. Jordan Howard or Darius Geis? I'm going to go with Darius Geis on this one. I am starting to warm on Darius Geis, something that has never happened in any offseason before. But he's still very young. I know the injuries are there, but I like the value. I like the opportunity to draft him in the 8th round and maybe get a starter. I think he's pretty talented and he could catch some passes. So, yeah. Make Brooks host one. Brooks, thoughts on having to, man, I don't know what would happen to you.
You don't want that.
If you sat here with these questions coming in, how much sweat is too much sweat?
I stumble on my words, the
You
few
stumble
things
on
I
your words
do
too
say.
much?
Yeah, so, yeah, no one wants that. No one
I
wants
think
to see
everybody wants that, Brooks.
that. Denied.
Brooks choose this question. Oh, I'm choosing the questions, PC. But you still won. Yo, Brooks, choose this question. Rager or Jefferson for Dynasty? Oh, I don't think I've been asked this question. I don't know. I really like Justin Jefferson, but I guess I'll take Jalen Rager. I think Jefferson is going to end up a very consistent pro wide receiver year to year. But I don't know, Zimmer's getting extended by Minnesota. Cousins is on this guaranteed contract. And the identity of that team is to run the football. So from just a passing attempt standpoint, last year with all the struggles Philadelphia had, they're still a top 15 passing offense. So I'm going to go for the upside here in Dynasty. I'm not going to just take the safe option. And I think Rager has a higher Dynasty ceiling to me. James Conner or Jonathan Taylor? Well. Let's see where I have these guys ranked. I don't want to misspeak. I imagine they are very close in my rankings. And you may have to wait a little while for Jonathan Taylor. I have Connor. Yeah, I've got Connor a little bit higher. And that's just coming into the season as the starter. The what-if factor with Big Ben coming back. And, yeah. Keep trade cut, facial hair, chest hair, toe hair. Would you believe I've never been asked this question either, Brooks?
Well, this one is confusing because cut, what is that?
Yeah, I mean, really, cutting one is the best. Facial hair I'm going to keep because I have facial hair. I don't know if I've ever thought about toe hair. Have you thought about your toe hair, Brooks?
Nah.
Do people manicure their toe hair?
It can get pretty rough.
It can get pretty rough down there.
Pretty hairy.
And then you got chest hair. Yeah, I'm not going to participate in this question anymore. That's what I decided. Jacobs or Mixon in a 0.5 point per reception? Josh Jacobs. He is that running back that right now is drafted outside that top tier that could easily break in. Why all these questions making me not choose Joe Mixon? I like Joe Mixon. Give me questions that make me choose Joe Mixon. Like, give me Joe Mixon or Darius Geis. I'll go Mixon. Bonus points if you ask me some sort of question that isn't just a start-sit question, but a player versus player question. Something about if you want to know something about the show, you want to know anything about Brooks' personal life, both of those topics, I'm probably going to click it. Higbee or Gesicki, I'll go Higbee there after what we saw at the end of last year. This is a good question. Have you ever considered more dynasty-based episodes with their increased popularity? Yes. Yep. I think we've considered more dynasty. Dynasty is becoming more popular. We love dynasty. Not all dynasty advice. It's a tough balance with the show because a lot of redraft advice is still applicable to dynasty. All the way we talk about players, and analyzing what this season is going to look like and projecting them. It's not always the inverse, right? Like a dynasty show doesn't always backwards compatible with redraft. So we definitely think about that. I'm sure we will do more. Compliments are a great way to get your question on the live stream. Yo, Andy, nice haircut. Thank you. Are you more inclined to take an early quarterback or tight end in a smaller league? Probably more inclined to take an early tight end. I'm human, Brooks. I watch George Kittle's workout videos when they pop up on Twitter. And George Kittle, Travis Kelce, if they start to slip in drafts, it's just tough because you like a lot of leagues, I take a late round tight end and you like to find gold there. Same way you do with quarterback. But it's comfortable, it's cozy to have a great tight end. And unlike, quarterbacks, year to year, you see a lot of fluctuation, Mahomes to Lamar Jackson, who knows who it will be year to year. Kelsey's been the number one for, 4 straight years, Brooks?
Yeah.
You kind of know what you're getting in him. So I feel more comfortable with the Travis Kelce factor. Where is your studio? Looks sick. It's in Phoenix, Arizona, where it is 1 million degrees. Yeah, thank you, though. Yeah, we are thankful that we are in the studio right now. We've had some at-home episodes, tried to upgrade our at-home studios as well. But, yeah, thanks. All right, Phil, game of horse, Jason or Mike? So, Jason will win that by a lot. Jason and I have played a few games of horse in our day. And little known fact, he's never beat me at any game of basketball. I beat him at every one-on-one match and every game of horse for years, just years and years and years. So, every single game. All right, another great question. Oh, wow, Andy, you're the best-looking footballer. Who's your go-to Hail Mary pick at the end of drafts? A lot of times it's been one of the rookies. It's been the Jalen Ragers or the D-Jaxes. I'm going to use this question as an excuse.
Okay, the audio is delayed here, but that's nonsense. I have like 1,001 against you.
He's been holding on to his high school. I was wondering if you were listening. I had to shoot my shot. Jason won a few games of high school one-on-one against me.
1,000
1,000 games. He won 1,000. I was really short. Very, very short. He's 2 years older than me. I was 5 foot. So yeah, he won 1,000 games. But if you want to know my personality, he won 1,000 games, Brooks. Would you have given up before you got to 1,000 or however many we got to?
No.
I didn't give up.
No.
Gotta keep going. And then I got tall, and now I win. Okay. Back to questions. Mario, will Fournette's relationship with the Jags affect his value at all? Yep, especially in Dynasty leagues. It kind of seems like they're stuck with him right now. And that's not my favorite kind of relationship, the kind that you're stuck with. Keep trade cut. Jeff Fisher, Matt Nagy, Adam Gase. Well, shoot. I can't work with Adam Gase. I can't work with Jeff Fisher. And Matt Nagy's getting there. But I guess I'll keep him. And that means I got to cut Adam Gase. I'll trade Jeff Fisher. Yeah. Wow, these questions are moving now. I gotta scroll a little bit. They're jumping all over the place, Brooks. Lamar or they're not working anymore. Am I still live?
Yep.
Can you confirm?
Yep.
My screen is frozen. Okay, it updated. Lamar or Kittle in a PPR league? I mean, it's draft cost. I mean, everybody wants to have Lamar Jackson on your team. So, in most drafts, I'm more likely to end up with Kittle than Lamar. That's for sure. All right, Michael wants to know, do you prefer yard work or in-house chores? Kind of depends on the weather. I actually love yard work. It's just there's a small window in Arizona where it's viable. That's not really true. We get good winters. You can do yard work. Yeah, but then stuff doesn't grow. I don't know. I probably prefer yard work as long as it's not 120 degrees. Right now, yard work is a death sentence in Arizona. So you got to be careful. You can get up at like 2 in the morning and go out when it's 95. So the Borgogan is on here, but I just lost his question. These are jumping all over the place, Brooks. I'm upset. I can't click any of them. They were all staying put for this whole time, but now I just have to click at random. And capital letters apparently is what you get. Nick wants to know, what are your concerns with Matt Ryan this year? My concerns are that he will be bad in the red zone again.
He's Matt Ryan.
They are also that he is Matt Ryan. And that we believe that Matt Ryan can be a kind of, if the defense struggles, we want Matt Ryan to be that, he's going to throw for over 4,200 yards probably. I don't have a lot of concerns because I don't have him slotted into a place where he's going to disappoint me. So, yeah. All right, Andy you are the winner, who do you most enjoy beating? So in fantasy football, that is a key component. It's bragging. It is really rubbing it in. And if you're a competitor, you know that the person you most enjoy beating is the person that most enjoys beating you, and the person that rubs it into you. And that's Jason. I love beating Jason. It's great. Because it's not great when he wins. So, favorite office art piece? Oh, goodness. Can you see Mr. Michael Keaton? I mean, how do you not pick Michael Keaton? I don't even know how we found this, but we did. I love Michael Keaton. Oh, this is a fun question. Andrew wants to know how much prep goes into preparing an episode's quote script versus just discussing off the cuff. The way we do our show is we've certainly never had anything like a script. We have like a show doc guide. So everything, all the discussions that you have on the show are all off the cuff, so to speak. But we do know, what the show is going to be about, which segment's going to lead into which segment. So we've got a team of really good people. Brooks kind of puts that like framework together. Kyle, our editor-in-chief, sometimes will go in if like he knows we're talking about the NFC West. He's going to go in and he's going to throw in some hot stats. That's HAWT, hot stats about the teams that he's observed. And, we'll all do the same thing. I'll go in and throw in a few things that I think I want to bring up. The other guys will do the same. So, yeah, that's how it goes. Let's see. I gotta get to some of these newer questions. The system is giving me a hard time. Is Brooks the intro voice? Let's find out. Brooks, could you give us give us one of your famous drops?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I can't even.
No, he's not even playing along. If the season is cut short due to COVID, how do you determine a league winner? Well, we had this discussion in our League of Record. We determined, because we have a keeper league, and we realized that how important it is for like trade deadlines and pick trade deadlines to determine a point in the season where we would be 100% content declaring a winner. And we determined 8 games. So if 8 regular season NFL games happen, we're going to declare that a complete season. Best record, most points will win. Picks, all that stuff. You can start trading. What we did is we set our trade deadline at week 10. So we're banning pick trades until week 8 when we declare a formal season, and then we're leaving 2 weeks open for pick trading. And, that's the way we chose to do it. I feel cozy about it. If it were to stop before that 8 weeks, we decided we'd keep the draft position and things like that and kind of just go back in time. Kyler Murray, MVP. What? Excellent. That's good to know ahead of time, right? Number 2 NFL team if you had to pick. My answer to this has generally been the Green Bay Packers. I was a pretty big Packer fan, secondary to the Cardinals. And, I've got family that lives or lived in Wisconsin and been able to see a game there. Love the fact that the city owns the team. So, there you go. Yeah. I like the Chiefs a lot. I've answered that many times as well with Andy Reid, even before the Super Bowl. They seem very convenient as a pick right now. Kyle says, hope all is well. Thank you, Kyle. Hope all is well with you as well. You had one job, Brooks, and that was to do the drops, and you failed. Aliens, are they real? Yeah, if they exist, they're absolutely real. Yeah. Halloween costume in 2020. That's kind of a big deal for this show. Do I have any ideas? Was last year Lizard King, Chris Goblin, and what am I forgetting? Jason was the Goblin?
The Walrus.
The Walrus.
Yeah, Mike was the Walrus.
Good. Where are we at time-wise, Brooksy? I don't know how long I've been here. When the questions are coming in like this. Oh, thank you. Easy question. Joe Mixon or toe hair? Perfect. Joe Mixon. You can probably make them a little bit harder than that. I'm a big Jamal Adams fan. Look, I know what you're saying right now. I know what you're saying to me. You see me wearing this Cardinal shirt, and you think you control me with Jamal Adams going to Seattle, and you're right, because that sucks. We're talking NFC West today, and man alive, is that division tough. Joe Mixon or your lunch? It's about noon, so it's tight. It's close. Brooks, do you have any information on whether my lunch has arrived?
I'll get
Is
right
there a
on
chance
that.
that my lunch is getting cold? I might have to wrap this.
I bet it's not here yet.
You bet it's not here? Okay. Well, I'll just hang out for a little bit longer. Let's see what we got going on. Who do you trust more? Drake, Jones, or Sanders? Aaron Jones. Then probably Kenyon Drake, Miles Sanders are in the same tier of trust. Why are the live streams so much quieter, Brooks? That's what Alex would like to know.
What's funny is myself and producer Borland are discussing that right now. And
is it? So you guys are discussing? Is it really? It's quieter?
A little bit, yeah. So we're gonna work on that.
I'm sorry. Is that helpful? No? Do you want me to do that, Brooks? Just yell?
Nah.
Okay, I won't.
Nah.
Thoughts? I think this was supposed to be thoughts. That's on Sanu. Mohamed Sanu has not been talked about at all. For a reason. No, I think he's probably a little bit under the radar, considering what he does well, what Cam Newton likes to do. Yeah. Hey, Brooks, real quick question from Eric. Andy is the smartest man alive. What is 48 plus 7?
I can't hit those notes, man.
He's afraid to do it. Brooks, you had one job. Do it with me. 1, 2, 3. 55. I have to do it quiet.
Yeah.
I can't hit them either.
Yep.
There's a lot of math-related questions that are flowing in. Is this a good time for me to click the reminder button on the UDK, Brooks? It's
Looks
probably
great.
a good time to do that. If you are just jumping back into fantasy, which I know, we see the numbers. We see how many people are listening. We see those numbers going up. We know people are jumping back into fantasy football right here, right now, getting into August. I think we're 43 days away from kickoff. And kickoff's like a week later than it was last year. So, you're just getting into it. Camp, NFL, it's here. You need to be prepared for your draft. You got to set that foundation, as we always say. You don't want to get off to a terrible start because you didn't do the work. So let us do the work for you. Check out the Ultimate Draft Kit at ultimatedraftkit.com. You get access to a completely 100% redesigned desktop experience. You get access to the mobile app for free as an add-on at ultimatedraftkit.com. You don't have to pay for that. You get access to both. So that means you got some real practical potty time. That's what I'm saying. When your wife says, "Where you been?" Instead of answering, the bathroom, say, "I've been researching my fantasy football team." You don't have to say anything else. And then, traditionally, your spouse will respect that answer, from what I understand. So you can check that out. We've got tons of upgrades. We've got some new charts in there. We are updating it all the time. In fact, we're doing some Dynasty rankings changes today. We've got 100-plus player profile videos. We've got a lot going on in the draft kit, and this is the time to get ready to rumble for your league. So that's why this wonderful comment just came in. 100% worth it. Not even like 80% worth it or 90%. Is a high number. As high as it gets. Let's jump into a couple more questions, and then I think I will go eat some lunch. Here's a great question. Bro, what's for lunch? I believe Jason is ordering some, what is it, Boston Market?
Oh, and it just got here.
And it just got here, which means it's time for lunch. So, hey, thank you for tuning into the live stream. This was day 3. All 5 days this week we're going live. We've set up the technology too, whether we're home studio, whether we're here in the office. We can go live take your questions. We're going to be doing more of it this year, and super excited. Mike's going to have his Sunday Live going on again, I'm sure. So that'll do it for me because my food is here. Thank you for tuning in, supporting the show. And again, check out that Ultimate Draft Kit at ultimatedraftkit.com. And I believe Mike will be back here with you tomorrow, live once again. Take care, everybody.